People, welcome back to my channel, and yeah, it's another preview, right? The Champions League second leg quarter finals. Oh God, it's about to get interesting. Arsenal, can you do it? I expect them to do it, but the bigger question is, can Barcelona get over the line against Atletico Madrid? Guys, as I said, it's the second leg of the Champions League quarterfinals, and the first leg saw some interesting results. However, the second leg, I don't know, but you know what? Let's just go straight into the matches. Now, as you know, the Champions League is usually Tuesday and Wednesdays, and games obviously are kicking off tomorrow, Tuesday. Who starts off first is Atletico Madrid hosting the Catalan giant Barcelona at the Metropolitano. Now, if you remember, just some few days ago, Barcelona unfortunately lost the first leg 2-0 to Atletico Madrid at Camp Nou. And yes, they were down to 10 men, but honestly, I feel like that game was bittersweet for Barcelona, particularly because before the game, or before they got the red card, I felt like it was better on their side. They played well, they played better, they seemed like the team that was obviously going to get the result. But unfortunately, Paul Kubasi getting the red card in that game just meant that they were down to 10 men, and obviously Atletico Madrid took advantage. The first goal was scored by Alvarez, a very fine free kick straight into the top corner of the net. And then the second goal was scored in the second half, which was sealed, literally sealing the game for Atletico Madrid in the first leg. Now, the second leg is going to be played, as I said, at the Metropolitano. However, looking at the last game that was played at the weekend for Atletico Madrid in particular, they lost the game 2-1 to Sevilla, and I expected them to have played better. However, the lineup in that game was a completely total 11 players, right? And I think that Diego Simeone, the head coach, was focused more on this Champions League. He was focused more on them getting, to the semi-finals of the Champions League. And I think I can't even remember the last time they did that. It's been a while back that they actually got to the semi-finals of the Champions League. And so I think it was looking to do that again. And I think maybe just the fact that, they've also gotten to the semi-finals of the Copa del Rey is probably just weighing the chances of winning one title at least this season. And it makes sense. It absolutely makes every sense. And so if they're able to get the job done against Barcelona, who quote and unquote seem like the champions of La Liga already, because they have about 9 points between themselves and Real Madrid, it absolutely means that they have a chance of at least winning one title this season. And I'm talking about Atletico Madrid. But the issue is, can they do the job? Can they get the job done? I remember the last time they faced the same Barcelona side, two-legged game, especially in the Copa del Rey. Yes, they won the first leg, a 4-0 win, trumping Barcelona, beating them in a surprising manner. The second leg, it wasn't the case. Barcelona played all over them, and that game ended 3-0 in the second leg. But because they already have a 4-0 advantage in the first leg, that kind of just put them through 4-3 on aggregate. This time around, it makes it easier for Barcelona because they just have to score about 3 goals. And it is possible because I've seen them do it against Atletico Madrid time and time again. So, honestly, I feel like this game is still open. Anything can still happen. And I expect that Barcelona to get the job done, right? They really do have to get the job done. But it's going to be difficult. It's really going to be difficult. I expect Diego Simeone to start their regular players, Julian Alvarez, Ademola Lookman, a lot of their players that I know, that I expect them, their regular players, should definitely start in this game. Their goalkeeper now, what's his name? Musso. Yes, I think he has been one of their best players let me say, the goalkeeper, he has been able to keep Atletico Madrid, chasing Real Madrid and Barcelona this season and keeping them in good competitions, other tournaments outside of La Liga. So definitely I expect him to be there. I expect Lorente to be there. I expect, as I said, even his son, Julian Simeone, I expect him to start because he has been one of their best players this season. The irony that is his son, right? So definitely I expect him to be starting off. And yeah, I think if I look at one or two of the other of their players, Griezmann, that is one player that has stood out for them this season time and again. So definitely I expect him to start up. However, for Barcelona, I expect Lewandowski to be, the front man, the number 9. Lamine Yamal, absolutely, right? He should there. He scored at the weekend, so definitely I expect him to play in this game. I'm not sure if Marcus Rashford will start, but I feel like if what's the name of their Hansi Flick, if Hansi Flick wants to get the job done early and quickly, he definitely has to start Marcus Rashford. I think when Marcus Rashford starts, it seems like a better player than when it comes off the bench because the confidence is not as much there. But I expect him, as I said, to start off Marcus Rashford. I expect Eric Garcia, obviously. I don't think Paul Kubasi will be starting. Obviously, he got a red card in the last game. Arau should definitely be there. And Kunde obviously should also be starting. And João Cancelo, definitely. And their goalkeeper, Joan Garcia, absolutely. So, definitely, I think Barcelona has everything to be able to win this game, except they just don't want to take it seriously. They should be able to beat Atletico Madrid. They've done it. Yes, maybe it really didn't work in their favor, but they can still do it, right? So, definitely, it's still going to be an interesting game. It's difficult for me to even predict who is going to win because Atletico Madrid at the Metropolitano, trust me, they're a different team entirely. They can be scary. So, I don't think it's going to be easy for Barcelona, but man, I don't want to predict. You know what? Make your predictions in the comment sections, right? And then the other game on Tuesday, we'll see Liverpool take on Paris Saint-Germain. Now, don't forget that Paris Saint-Germain goes to Anfield with a 2-0 advantage. The first leg saw Desiree Doué scoring the first goal and Kvaratskhelia scoring the second one. Now, definitely Liverpool with their game at the weekend winning 2-0, that is an advantage. That is the confidence booster to go into this game, and you're playing at home again, so definitely you have everything in your favor. However, there are so many of their players that I expect to step up. Florian Wirtz is one, Mo Salah is one. They have to step up. These players have disappointed over and again this season, but Mo Salah scoring in their last game, maybe that would propel him to play better, and that is if Arne Slot decides to start Mo Salah, because he has to. I get that Mo Salah can have his off days, but when it comes to Champions League games, he always knows how to step up, and I want to believe that Arne Slot will give him that advantage and let him start in this game. But the other players who I also expect to start very well, as I mentioned, Florian Wirtz, he has to do better. So Boslai has been one of their good players this season, and I know he's going to do it again. Right? I know he's going to do it again. So definitely they have to win. Mamadashvili should be starting in goal. I'm not sure if Alisson is completely fit, and if he is, because it did start, at the weekend. Mamadashvili was in charge. So maybe I expect him to start Alisson, right? Yeah, I expect him to start Alisson, definitely. Frimpong obviously should be starting. Ibrahim Konate and Van Dijk. I don't think there's anything Arne Slot can do about not starting these two, because they've been poor, really poor, especially Ibrahim Konate. In that first leg against Paris Saint-Germain, it was terrible. In fact, I think it led to the second goal. So he has to do better in this game. He has to do way better in this game. But yeah, Igor Ekitike also was really bad in that first leg. Hopefully he can do better, and the good thing for them is that Alexander Isak is back, so maybe that is an encouragement that even if Ugo Ekitike doesn't play well, Isak can step in, even though, to be honest, I don't have the confidence as much as in him. I don't think he's exactly fit yet, but I like the fact that Arne Slot is playing him, just to keep him up to that match fitness that they need, and so maybe he can get the job done. As for Paris Saint-Germain, honestly, I don't know what to expect from them. I think they're still going to win this game, even though Well, when you look at the last game that Liverpool played in the Champions League, they were 1-0 down in the first leg against Galatasaray and somehow winning the second leg 4-1 and advancing to the quarterfinals. Now, this time around, they are going to be playing Paris Saint-Germain and they have to get the job done because last season, it was really, really difficult for them to play against Paris Saint-Germain and they have to do better. However, I still think that it's going to be difficult. That's just the truth. I think it's going to be really, really difficult. However, I also think that the fact that Paris Saint-Germain won their game at the weekend, that will, is another encouragement for them to go into this game with all level of confidence, just positivity for them going into this game and maybe getting another 2-0 win and advancing into the semi-finals. But I don't think it's easy. Liverpool, when it comes to Champions League night, especially at Anfield, under the light, they are not a pushover. They are not a team you can just push aside. They look like a team that will give you that stress, that would even if you're going to beat them, they will not make it easy for you, as I said, especially at Anfield. So Paris Saint-Germain has to be ready for that work to be done. But regardless, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what to expect from this game. Anyways, over to Wednesday's game. But before I do that, have you subscribed to the channel? Guys, subscribe to the channel. I love you guys, okay? I'm sure you know I do. Please, subscribe to the channel, okay? Don't forget to share with your loved ones. Share with them. Can't be only you now. Share with them and also tell them to subscribe, okay? Please subscribe to the channel. On Wednesday, Arsenal will have to get the job done to get to the semi-final. I think the last time it was at the semi-final they lost out, but this time around they have to get to the semi-final again, facing Sporting. The good thing for them, however, is they are playing at the Emirates. However, the game they lost at the weekend at the Emirates against Bournemouth does not give any positive vibes. No. The way their fans are breaking down right now, Bottling FC, Keneko FC, this FC, No Trophyless FC, this, that. Nah, these players have to get over this and fast. Because, trust me, the fact that Sporting CP will go into this game knowing that Arsenal are all down in an all-time low of confidence right now is an encouragement for them. Don't forget that the first leg, Sporting CP gave Arsenal a hard time. In fact, if not for Kai Havertz in the 93rd minute or 92nd minute, with just that lucky pass into the 18-yard box and he just quickly slotted it in past the goalkeeper, I don't think they would have had any chance of scoring a goal in that first leg. But this second leg, Sporting will not make it easy. Trust me. They are not going to make it easy. And so definitely a lot of their players have to step up. That game at the weekend, it was terrible. Absolutely hideous. Ridiculous. All the English I can think of. It was a very bad team performance. The players you expected to step up, none of them did. Aside from maybe Declan Rice, who was a bit consistent and he wasn't even getting the ball into the box enough. This time around, they have to do better. I don't know if Saka is going to start, but if he's going to start, he has to be better. Saka has been so disappointing this season and he hasn't stepped up, especially to the new contract that he has received this season. He has to do better. He's been ridiculous, honestly. Really, really bad. His performances has not been up to standard. And now, they are looking to get to the semi-final of the Champions League and he has to do better. He has to improve. I'm not even sure if Mikel Arteta is going to even start him. That is just the absolute truth. I'm not sure he's going to start him at all. So definitely a lot of their players have to step up. Zubimendi has to do better. And their defense has just been leaking goals, I don't know, for the last few games. I don't know what's going on. Arsenal had one of the best defense out there coming from last season till the beginning of this season. This year, the defense has been in shambles. Shambles. So they have to do better. They have to do better. As I said, They still don't have Timber yet, so they still have to probably stick with Ben White, who has been horrible. You see those 2 goals they conceded at the weekend. He had a hand in it. His hand was literally in those goals. So he has to do better. Anyways, Declan Rice obviously has to start. I'm not sure if I want Martinelli to start. I think I would prefer Trossard. Kai Havertz, I'm not so sure. I would rather he starts Eze, although Eze also is not exactly match fit. So, but regardless, I expect him to start. And then Madueke obviously over Saka, because Saka has not been playing well. And Gyökeres up front. Or maybe I would rather he starts Gabriel Jesus. Let's just see what that one can do, and then maybe brings in Gyökeres later. Honestly, this Arsenal side, they're just ridiculous. And then for Sporting, obviously Suarez as their main guy. I expect him to be there. And one of their players that I think has really stood out from me is their goalkeeper, Rui Silva. He has been so good. That last game against Arsenal, it really did well. I think it was the one who kept them in that game till the last minute, where unfortunately he just couldn't keep that goal out. But he has been one of their standout players, especially in the Champions League. And I expect him obviously to be in goal. I expect Quaresma also to be in defense, and Iman. I'm not sure if I want the Bass to start, but I think he's the one available, so definitely. And up front, Goncalves obviously would be in that attack. So definitely, as I said, it's not going to be easy for Arsenal, but they can't even afford to be out of the Champions League right now. They cannot. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens in that result in that match. But yeah, put in the comment section who you think is going to get the job done. Is it Arsenal getting over the line to the semi-final, or Sporting springing up the surprise, right? And then the final game, we see Bayern Munich taking on Real Madrid. Now, don't forget that the last game saw Bayern Munich winning the game 2-1. It was a very slim win. I think in the second half, Real Madrid looked like the better side. They gave Bayern a bit more work to do. But the 2 goals scored from Bayern, especially in the first leg, really I don't know. I feel like Real Madrid weren't really ready for that first leg. I don't think so. And going into that game, don't forget that they drew their last game, and now they drew their game at the weekend again. So it's going to be a very interesting game. But Bayern is playing at home. Their game at the weekend, it was a 5-0 trumping of St. Pauli. They are ready. Bayern is ready. They are ready for this game, and they are playing at home. So really, as Real Madrid cannot afford to go there and just gonna be doing anyhow. They cannot. They have to get the job done. So, and they're record champions, right? 15-time Champions League winners. So they know how to win in the Champions League. It's their tournament. It's Real Madrid's tournament. Even though Bayern are also 6 times champion of the Champions League, they also know how to win it. But I feel like this game can fall end to end, because, as I said, it's just 2-1. So if Real Madrid can get the job done early enough, probably score 2 quick goals at the beginning, maybe they have a chance. But when you look at the lineup, obviously, you see Manuel Neuer, who I think was man of the match in their last game, and he has stepped up this season. What? Manuel Neuer has stepped up this season for Bayern Munich. He's been marvelous, from him in particular. His performances, his saves, man, is what I've seen from Neuer anyway. It's what I've seen from him for years. He has done it years. So I'm not even surprised. But yeah, definitely I expect him to still be in goal. When you look at the front line, obviously it will be Harry Kane, Michael Olise, who has been something else. That guy is just a terror to defenders. They don't know how to handle him. They don't know how to manage him. He's always... they don't know how to do it. But yeah, definitely I expect him to start. Jamal Musiala, who is back, also I expect him to play. And yeah, Goretzka, definitely. Kimmich, absolutely. And then the defense, Kim Min-jo, definitely. And then yeah, I think the lineup would definitely speak itself. I expect at least 9 players out of maybe the players that started at the weekend to definitely start. And maybe Nicholas Jackson will come in as substitute later. Absolutely. And then for Real Madrid, it will definitely see Vinicius Junior starting, Kylian Mbappe up front, and then Brahim Diaz. Absolutely. And then the midfield will definitely see Bellingham, Camavinga, and Valverde. Absolutely, in that defense. And they just have to do better, because the last time the midfield was where it crumbled for Real Madrid. Bayern kept breaking them from the midfield. They could not handle it, so they have to do better. Those trio have to do better. And then I'm not sure if I would prefer Rudiger to start ahead of Asensio. Definitely, I expect Rudiger to start. Then Militao, obviously, Carvajal and Garcia. And of course, Loni still in charge of the goalkeeping. I think what's his name, Courtois is still out, so definitely it will be Luni. And Luni did an amazing job in that first leg. He did an amazing job. He really kept Real Madrid in that game, because I think Bayern could have scored more than 2 goals. At some point, they could have scored like 3-4 goals. But he really kept them in the game. In fact, I think he's the one who gave Real Madrid the chance, right? He still gave them that chance to have any iota of getting into the semi-finals. He kept them in that game. So definitely, I think he's the one that will keep them again in this game, and they don't even have a choice. So yeah, I think those are my thoughts on the matches. As I said, don't forget to share your thoughts in the comment section. I will definitely be reading and responding. Don't forget to put on your post notification button to get our latest video when they drop, and follow us on all our social media platforms at _official FSH. As I would usually say, until the games are played and the results are in, enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Bye bye.